and welcome to the first podcast of Mental Health Warriors with myself, Aaron O'Neill, and my co-presenter, Liam Kennedy.
Yep.
You're very welcome to the show. We're going to have a series of these podcasts coming up, and we're going to be discussing various things, various aspects of life, all sorts of this and that and everything. But I suppose our main focus is mental health. It's something that's been very, very close to my heart and to Liam's as well.
Absolutely.
So what we're going to do is we're going to have several different types of guests on the show, guests from all walk of life. And we're not going to judge anyone that comes on the show either. I'm a counsellor by trade. I'm an anxiety therapist, and Liam is a motivational speaker. So it's fantastic that we have this opportunity to work together.
Yep.
And it's something that we only planned. It's only been the planning for 2 years?
Yeah, 2 years.
Don't fuck it up now.
No, we can't.
And there we go with the first swear word. Tonight we're going to be talking about Liam. Tonight's about Liam. It's all about Liam tonight. And what we're going to really want to find out is, we want to know who Liam is. Now, obviously I know who he is, but we want to know, who is Liam? Where did he come from? Where's he going? What has he done? Because Liam has been through an awful lot. I've known him now a long time, and he's become a very good friend to me. A great guy to talk to for anything at all. Superb guy, and just from where he's been to where he is now is fascinating. So, Mr. Kennedy, can I pass over to you to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely, my friend. Okay. For people who are going to be hearing this, there'll be people who know me, but hopefully there'll be a lot of people who don't. And tonight, like Aaron's just expressed, and this is like an opportunity for me to tell my story, which I have told in the past, but I don't mind telling it. I actually enjoy telling my story, and like Aaron just said, this is my opportunity tonight to talk. So hello everyone, my name's Liam Kennedy. I'm a mental health sufferer, and I have been for 10 years, but I couldn't find myself 45 months into my recovery. I suffer with severe depression. I've got post-traumatic stress disorder, and I've had spells where I've suffered with schizophrenia. So before I encountered, issues with my mental health, I got a job where I was actually in the same place where I was a student in a sports college, and then I ended up doing me 2 years, got my diploma, and then there was a job going, so I put my name forward. Thankfully I got the job, and it was great. I was a sports coach. I had my own group of disabled adults, and it was fantastic. It was like, my dream come true. Working, I had a, beautiful fiance, and, life couldn't have been better. And about a year or two, about 18 months, 2 years into my job, one of the people who was caring for and supported ended up getting hit on the head with a football, and this individual ended up having a major seizure. Done our best to make him as comfortable as we could, and then he ended up going home sick, and over the weekend he ended up dying because he drowned in a bathtub when he had a major fit. And I didn't find this out till Monday. And when I did find it out, it absolutely crushed me, because I had a really good rapport with this individual. And that was basically the start of my difficulties with my mental health. I ended up staying off work for quite a duration of time, and I was put on medication, and things were just confusing. And in the end, I ended up leaving that job due to ill health, because I just couldn't do it anymore. And then that's when things progressively become worse and more confusing. I ended up getting my own CPN, like a support worker, and the crisis team were coming out to see me 3 times a week. I was on medication, but I was on various medications due to me me as a person was not adapting to certain medications, so I had to go on different ones. I felt like a guinea pig at first because I was just on, I had to wait 6 weeks for it to enter my system to fully, become, for it to affect me, and I just wasn't taking to certain meds. And it was about the 6th or 7th different antidepressant where I did actually take to it, and things, were a little bit better, but I was in a bad way. And then after a few years of this, I ended up being introduced to an organisation called Everton in the Community, and it's basically a charity organisation with so many different programs available to people who just want to give something back to the community. You can do volunteer work, or you can, just basically do your part, because Everton Football Club that's why they're called the People's Club, because they look after the community and they do things, and they go above and beyond. And this a specific program within the organisation called the Imagine Your Goals program was suggested to me, and it was basically different lads who are going through difficulty with the mental health, but there was football sessions put on, and there was a session a day, 5 days a week, so through Monday to Friday there was a different session each day. And at first I was happy because I've got experience playing football. I was playing semi-professional football, and there was talk of me signing pro contracts with different teams, but that was before I got ill, and obviously when I developed my mental health problems, that hindered my my progression with my footballing career, so that suffered too. So when the Everton Community, when the program was suggested to me, at first I was excited, but I was nervous as well. It was like two different emotions that I was playing tug of war with. But in the end, I was persuaded to go, and it was the best thing that had happened to me, because it gave me, it gave me an opportunity to express myself again playing football. I could forget about my problems for 2 hours while this session was going on. Don't get me wrong. When the session was finished, I had to go back to my problems. But for 2 hours, I wasn't me. I was someone else. I was someone who hasn't got mental health problems, and I could express myself, and I could be passionate on the pitch and play well. And it sort of brought back memories of when I was playing semi-pro, and when I didn't have my mental health problems. So it brought back good memories, and over a duration of time, I'm still involved with Everton in the Community, but after about 2 years of me consistently going, and I was still unwell, but I was still managing to get football sessions and tournaments, where competing for trophies, which was, that I've got this competitive edge about me, and I'm really super competitive. So to know that I was playing in a tournament where there was a trophy up for grabs, that suited me. That was great. But fast forward now, I think it was about another 18 months, I hit a really rough patch, and it was just before, it was about 10 weeks before I entered my recovery, and I encountered the worst experience of my life. And for the rest of my life now, I know I will not go through anything as bad as what I did when I entered this breakdown. So it lasted 10 weeks, and during this breakdown, I'll discuss. I'll just share what I went through, how horrific it was. So as I entered this breakdown, I was on I was on 4 different meds, antipsychotics and antidepressants, and so after a week, I was severely depressed. I was hearing, like I said earlier when I introduced myself, I suffered with schizophrenia for a while, and during this breakdown I was hearing 8 different voices and different sounds, and it was horrendous. I was hearing a woman screaming, and that was just constantly. I thinking about it when it was happening, I was thinking to myself, why was her throat not sore? Because she was just screaming all day, and it was relentless. It was just non-stop. There was a dog barking, and I actually thought this noise was coming from outside of my bedroom, and I was thinking, why is this dog barking? Where's it coming from? And it was in my head. There was also the there was like you know, like when you go to a restaurant and it's pretty packed and you can hear that collective sound of everyone talking. That's what I could also hear. I was also hearing people mocking me, telling me I'm no good, swearing at me, you're fuck all, you're nothing, you're not going to amount to nothing. So there was like mocking and people insulting me, and there was also like this other one, these other two voices. It was of two foreign men. I didn't understand what language they were speaking. I don't even know if it was a language. It could have just been something made up that I made up in my head due to me, you know, me condition. But they were arguing. It was like a heated confrontation. So I had this going on, and then after a week of the breakdown, me doctors who were coming to see me regularly thought it was a good idea to take me off my medication, but not replace it with anything. So for the last 9 weeks of the breakdown, I was going through horrendous withdrawal symptoms because my body was crying out for medication because I'd been on it that long and it was used to it. So it was horrific. I was averaging 2 hours of broken sleep a night, and it was like 5 minutes here, 10 there, and it was horrendous. And as each day was going by, each day felt like a week, and each week felt like a year. It was that bad. So as the weeks are going on, I'm just wasting away, and I'm losing the battle. You know, I'm losing my life. And it wasn't until about week 7, week 8, where I thought to myself, I started imagining what feeling well and what being healthy was again. So I started imagining it in my head, even though it was just a fantasy at the time. I didn't realise, but I was actually planting seeds, which in the end helped me, you know, a lot. But I didn't know I was doing that. I just wanted to imagine what feeling well was, you know, and then after about week 8, I started like really contemplating now, because I knew it was desperation time. This was critical now. I knew the way I was feeling, and I didn't know how long I had left before, you know, I did give up, or I basically quit and just accepted that my illness was going to win and was going to dictate how my future played out. So we come to week 9, and again I started imagining, you know, what feeling well was like, and I had these scenarios in my head where I wasn't trapped in my bedroom. I never isolated myself. I imagined that I was spending time with my fiancée, and I was interacting with my family. And then as week 10 entered, I was so weak. I was sick. Everything was against me. And as I entered week 10, this day, it was the last day of the breakdown, and also the first day of me recovery. But it was like I knew this was the last day. I knew that this was decision time now, and I had a decision to make, and there was 2 options. And you know, option 1 was basically just quit and give up and climb back into your bed, pull the covers over you, and that's you. And this is the rest of your life now. You know, that's going to be a downward spiral. Or there was option 2, and this was like basically climb Mount Everest. This is how hard and what was needed to succeed with option 2. And I did take option 2, and that was, you know, basically fight for my life. And once I'd made that decision, something happened inside of me. Like I said, you know, I planted seeds, and these seeds were growing. And, you know, don't get me wrong, I was still unwell, but I'd actually changed my mindset and changed, you know, basically how things were going to play out, because the odds were stacked against me that I was going to basically just quit and give up, and I was going to end up in hospital or possibly worse. So then, you know, after the last day of the breakdown, you know, I basically started doing things again, slowly but surely. I couldn't just jump straight back into what I was doing before I was unwell. So I started going back to the football sessions with Everton in the community. Started lifting weights again, which, you know, exercise for me is a massive part of, you know, the structures that I've got in place for my own daily routine. And so I started doing all that again, and you know, I left my bedroom, because my bedroom at the time when I was going through the breakdown didn't resemble a bedroom. It was basically a cave, and it was somewhere where I was just like isolated. It was like I was on a desert island on my own. That's how how bad it was. So I left my bedroom and I wasn't spending a lot of time in there. I was doing things out of the bedrooms, interacting with family again, you know, basically spending time with my fiancée again, and, you know, basically showing her that, you know, that I have got fight in me, I'm not going to quit. And since then, like I said, I'm 45 months now into my recovery, and during this period of recovery I've achieved so much, not just winning back my life, that, you know, that's been the catalyst behind me, you know, becoming successful and basically, you know, winning. It's gonna be a war against my illness for the rest of my life. Every day is a battle, but actually fighting for my life and basically telling my illness, no, you're not having it. You know, that's provided the platform for me to go on and, you know, catch up with things that I hadn't done for years. You know, so I've got a job again. I'm now a support worker for people who have got mental health problems. I've become a motivational speaker. I've become a volunteer with everything in the community. I've become a poet. Up to now, I've wrote 192 poems, all mental health related, and the feedback I get from them is overwhelming. You know, I don't write the poems so people go, "Oh, Liam, you're great." I don't do it for that. I do it when I get comments like, "Liam, I woke up today and I was having a bad day, but I read one of your poems and it gave me the fight and the strength to get through the day." So when I'm hearing comments like that, that's fantastic to hear. You know, that something that I've developed with the gift of poetry that is actually helping people.
And you're going to be publishing soon, Liam, aren't you?
You want me?
You're going to be publishing soon.
Yeah. I'm working hard on getting them published. I want to try and get to 200. I want to round it off to 200. So I've got 8 more to go, and then hopefully one of these publishers or someone can, you know, help me, you know, show me the process of how to go about it. I've done a little bit of homework on it, but I do believe that I can broaden me, you know, I can extend my audience, because I've got a lot of followers on Facebook and Twitter and online with my blogs and stuff. But if I can get a book out there with all my poems, you know, I've basically I've extended my audience and my followers, haven't I? So it's exciting times, and
absolutely, yeah. And they're fantastic as well. The ones I've heard anyway. You've been generous to share with the group, the Let's Talk Mental Health group. So it's been fantastic, and I know you've a lot of big fans on there as well.
Yeah.
Sorry, because it could have crossed your story. I was just curious.
It's all right. No, it's okay.
I was curious to know, because I was going to publish it instead and say I wrote it. So I was just curious.
No. So like I was saying, I've achieved all of this. You know, I've made monstrous strides in getting myself back on track, and you know, I do still encounter bad days and I go through bad spells, but you know, I when I do it, if an obstacle or a hurdle, you know, when I can't quite get over it, I tell myself, you got through your breakdown. This is nothing compared to your breakdown. So that gives me the sort of the fuel to get through, you know, whatever hurdle or whatever barrier I'm struggling to get over. And you know, life at the moment is, you know, I can't say perfect, because I don't think life will ever be perfect, but it's not far off. You know, it really isn't. And you know, every day I work hard. To this day, I still work as hard as I was working on the first day of my recovery. I might be, from someone watching me and watching my life, they might think that I make it look easy, but I've still got to put the same amount of effort in today than I did when I was going through, you know, when I first entered my recovery. It might look easy what I'm doing now, but that's just because I've gained so much strength over this duration of time where I've been in my recovery. You know, and every day is different, and I try my best to, you know, to work hard every day. And you know, although I'm in, you know, like, so say for instance I'm in today, the good work I've done today, and you know, all the hard work that I've put in, it's providing me with the fuel to get through tomorrow. So it's putting me in good habits for tomorrow. So you're working hard on whatever day you're going through, but you're also preparing yourself for the next day, and that's a bit like a cycle, and a bit like I try and keep that mindset where I'm preparing for tomorrow, because preparation is a big thing now, part of my like the structure that I've got and the coping strategies, and I listen to music, I write poems, and I've got a room in my house called the Positive Room, and it's just basically full of quotes. My poems are on the wall, and everything that I find positive in my life, pictures, all my trophies that I've won through football, all my medals that I've won, and everything in this room. It's I could be going through a bad day, and I'll enter the room, and it's like it's got this invisible energy, and it gives me a spark of, it's sort of like, it's like a car that won't quite start, and then once I enter this room, it's like I can start the car again, because it's provided me with, the fuel to get through the day if I was encountering a bit of a bad day. So
that's great. Having a room, a positivity room. I mean, the closest to that I've got is a room where I keep black sacks and cardboard boxes.
Yeah.
I can make forts, though. I'm really good at that.
Yeah, we'll have to make one.
Can I ask you a question, Liam?
Yeah.
And I've had people ask this question before, and it was really around you, and when you were at that point and you were rock bottom. How did you approach it with your fiancée, and how did she, support you, or how did that go?
Yeah, well, it was basically, I sort of shut it off and didn't want to see anyone. So, like I said, I isolated myself in my bedroom. Although at the time I was living with my parents, I didn't come out. I only went out the room to go to the toilet, and then I'd come back in, and my mum would bring food up for me, and I was hardly eating anything because my appetite was gone.
Yeah.
But like we were still texting, me and my fiance, but she suffered because we weren't spending time together. But she still supported me and still believed. Even and during the time, it was just before the last day of the breakdown. I was like sort of resigned to this. This is my life now, and I actually said to my fiance, look, I think we're gonna have to split up because this isn't fair on you. I don't want you to suffer with me. Go and live your life and go and be happy and break yourself from this, free yourself from this struggle at the moment. And she refused to. She just refused to do it, and basically believed that I'd get through it. So that helped as well. Even though I would have been upset that we would have split up, I would have been happy that she would have been able to live the life. But
do you think there's a lot of people out there that wouldn't stand by someone like that and would have said, all right, Liam, I'm off? Do you think there's a lot of people out there that would have done would be that mindset?
I don't think. I mean, maybe in a few cases, but I'd like to think mostly no. Because it's not although someone's suggesting that, it's not something that you don't want to do. It's like you've give up on the relationship, and you've resigned yourself to saying, well that's it. I'll give it a go and I'll go and do something else. It's as if you're a robot or you've got no emotions. People have got emotions. We're human beings. And she decided to stay in the fight with me, and that helped as well. Everything, that helped. These seeds that were being planted, they all contributed and all basically joined together to give me, to provide me with the catalyst to enter my recovery. So, yeah, I'd like to think that in that same situation, no, I don't think a lot of people would leave the partner. They'd stick it out. I'd like to think so anyway.
Yeah, you would like to think so, but I don't know. I'm not so sure that would be the case. Then, a lot of the time, I think people, one partner may
just understanding they are of the situation.
Yeah, that's true. I think that's the truest thing. If you can get a grip on what the other person is going through,
Yeah.
like this is what they're going through, then it might make things a little bit easier.
Yeah, definitely.
But going with no understanding and just thinking, oh, he's lost interest, and you know, you can see how they may go, okay, right, well, you know, I'm off, kind of thing.
Yeah. Going to live my life, I think.
I've got a few questions in, Liam, if you wouldn't mind answering.
No.
I've one here from our good friend Lisa in Carlo, and Lisa wants to know, if you had to, would you rather punch a panda or a polar bear?
A polar bear, because it'd put up a bigger fight.
Right.
I'd punch a polar bear because I think it'd be more angry, and I think I like a challenge. So yeah, I'd probably punch the polar bear.
I was kind of hoping you'd say panda, and then I'd say I was going to have a go at you for saying that you'd try and take out a nearly extinct species.
Yeah.
Well, good question, Lisa. Good question. As always. Where we go. Okay. Right, Liam, what advice would you give to someone who was in that exact situation when you were at your lowest, when you were only getting a few, when you were only getting a few minutes of sleep at night, and you just couldn't get from the bed, you just couldn't move? What advice would you give to the person?
As hard as it may seem, don't quit. Don't give up. You know, still believe, as hard as the situation is, and from personal experience, start planting seeds by imagining that, you know, start like self-visualization where you're imagining yourself getting out of your bed. You know, there's people who have done that in life. Like I think Linton Christie used to do it before he'd do a 100-meter run. Before he'd race, he'd go through the same situation in his head. So he'd imagine that the gun's been shot and then he's racing and he's won. So then he'd do. I know that's a bit off topic, but I'm just trying to come up with a comparison. Just don't quit. I believe that you can get out of your bed, you know, as hard as it may seem, because when you are going through a bad time, basically getting out of your bed is like being told, go and climb. You know, it might sound a bit extreme comparison, but it is. It's like being told to climb a mountain without any training, because that's how hard things appear when you're going through such a bad time. Don't quit. Don't give up on yourself. Things will get better, but you've just got to, you know, you just got to keep going. You just got to keep at it and visualize yourself getting better. Imagine, you know, fantasize about it, because, you know, I did, and it planted seeds, and without me actually knowing, you know, like I said, it provided me with the platform to actually do it. It was like I was practicing it in my mind, and then I actually went about it and you know, done it. You know, I actually got out of my bed, and I know how hard it is, and, you know, it's easier said than done. But that's how I'd offer advice for that situation.
That's a very good answer. A question in from Valerie. I assume that's a good friend Valerie Farrer. She wants to know, if you're one of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which one would you be and why?
That's a good question. I'd actually say I wouldn't want to be any of the Turtles. I'd like to be Splinter. I'd like to be...
He's a rat, though, isn't he?
Yeah, but he's the one who raised them and was like, he's like the mentor to the Turtles. So I'd like to be him. I know that I haven't answered the question properly, but
so you'd rather be a rat than a turtle, so. So rather than a turtle with superpowers, you want to be a rat. That's fine. That's fine. No problem at all. I hope that answers your question, Valerie. Can you get Liam to say his... Okay, Liam, can we get you to give us your famous line? Like, for everyone out there listening right now who may be in trouble, your famous line, can you give it to us?
Yeah, my motto in life is never give up. Never give up.
There you go. Yeah, that's from the horse's mouth. Mr. Liam Kennedy. Liam, as someone who's known you for a while and consider you to be a great friend. You're an inspiration every time I talk to you, every time I hear your story.
Thank you.
It's just inspiring every time. Your poetry is just fantastic, and I was kind of hoping in that light that you might just give us a poem. Would that be all right if you gave us a poem before we finish it?
I think I mentioned this to you before when we were discussing about doing the podcast. When we were discussing like what poems I'd use, I actually said the first poem that when I got the opportunity to read out, it's called My Fuse is Lit. So I've got it ready now, and it'll explain itself, but as it gets halfway through, it sort of turns into like a little bit of a rap, and that's what I tried to create within the poem.
Yeah.
So it has a bit of flow. So it's called
anyone would swear we'd rehearsed this. But just for anyone listening, we've done no rehearsal. There's been no rehearsal done at all.
No, improv.
I did know he's a poem, though. You've got nearly 200 of them, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
All right, Liam, so I'll pass it over to you.
Okay, so it's called My Fuse is Lit. Okay, so my fuse is lit. There is one thing I'll admit. My life can be so hard at times, but I refuse to quit. For the rest of my life now, this is something that I will commit. I know for a fact I will never submit. I need positive thoughts to keep me mentally fit. The more people I meet, the more energy I can transmit. I'm full of energy, longevity and positivity, empathy, and I'm also super strong mentally. I have a recipe of life that is acting as the remedy. I will still be helping many people when I'm 70. I really want to give people back their identity from my peers. I believe there is a level of expectancy. You all inspire me. I want to leave a lasting legacy. Remember the name, and that name is Liam Kennedy.
That's bloody fantastic.
Thank you.
That's fantastic, man. That's really, really good. And that stuff just flows. I mean,
that's what I tried to create with it, like.
Yeah. It's absolutely brilliant, and fair play to you. Keep it up, and we'll be very interested to see when the book comes out.
Yeah, I can't wait for it. I'm trying my best to make it happen. It's just it's a bit of a pipe dream at the moment, but once the ball starts rolling and things start becoming real, that's when I can really think, God, this is nearly a reality now. And I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah. Dave Keane wants to know, who would you rather fight, Hulk Hogan or Andre the Giant?
I mean, Hulk Hogan is a monster of a man, but I think I'd fight Hulk Hogan because Andre the Giant, it's in his name. He's a giant, isn't he? If he got old, you're not getting away. Yeah, even though Hulk Hogan would be a handful, like.
I don't know. I think that guy would be easier to fight personally, but that's just my opinion. Okay, I think we should wrap it up there, Liam. What do you think?
Okay. Yeah. I think we've done okay there, considering it's our first podcast.
Have you anything to put out there? Any message to put out there? Well, I suppose we climaxed with the never give up, didn't we?
Yeah. I'd like to just say again, I want to, just if anyone's out there and they're struggling, don't be afraid to not just fight back against your illness, but also don't be afraid to admit that you're going through, mental health, difficulties with your mental health. Look at me as an example of someone who isn't afraid, and take something from it. And in a sense of, if he's not afraid, if Liam's not afraid to admit it and talk so openly about his mental health, then I shouldn't be. And once I do create that, the people who have lost, or people who are actually not afraid, they can carry on that good work, and I see it as a positive infection. Everyone can rub off on each other, and it creates this knock-on effect where people are not afraid to open up. That's what I try and create with the work I do with me speaking, and also with the poetry. So hang in there. If you're going through a bad time at the moment, things will get better, and don't quit. And don't be afraid to admit that you're going through a bad time. I'd like to finish with that. And never give up.
Nice one. And I just want to just say to people, if you want to come forward, you want to tell your story, you want to come on, talk to me and Liam, just give us a shout. We can find us on Facebook on the Mental Health Warriors page, or Let's Talk Mental Health, and we will be more than happy to bring you on.
Absolutely.
As long as you don't mind being asked some ridiculous questions, and Liam might have known that I did make one or two of them up. I'll leave it for him to guess which ones. Okay, well, that's it for us for this week. Tune in next time, and next time we'll be talking to me, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
That's handy. I talk to myself all the time. Right. So thank you all for dialing in, and we will talk to you soon.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.